Hi, my name's Mike. This is part 2 of We're Not Appointed to Wrath and Rider 1. So as I read before, I read Revelation chapter 6, verses 12 to 17. So the wrath starts at seal 6. But just before that is the gathering. If you read Matthew 24, 29 to 31, it shows a comparison to Revelation chapter 6, verse 12 to 17. Let me just read Matthew 24, 29 to 31. Immediately after the distress of those days, the sun will be darkened, the moon will not give its light, the stars will fall from the sky, and the heavenly bodies will be shaken. Then will appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then all the peoples of the earth will mourn, when they see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of heavens to the other. So it shows there, before God's wrath, in seal 6 is the gathering, and the end of seal 6 is the start of God's wrath. So what are seals 1 to 5? If they're not God's wrath, they're tribulation. Since we're not appointed to wrath, we are appointed to tribulation. So seals 1 to 5, like I said, is before God's wrath. John 16:33, I've told you these things so that you may have peace. In this world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. And also we will experience persecution. John 15:20, remember what I've told you, a servant is not greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will persecute you also. If they obeyed my teaching, they will also obey yours also. But some might point out, a lot of paperwork here, but some might point out that isn't the first rider in Revelation Jesus or the Antichrist? No, it's not Jesus, because Jesus gathers his elect at the 6th seal. And Satan is cast down also to empower the Antichrist at the 6th seal. And if we read Revelation 6, 1 to 2, I'll explain more why the first rider in Revelation is not Jesus. Revelation 6, 1 to 2. I watched as the Lamb opened the first of the 7 seals. Then I heard one of the 4 living creatures say in a voice like thunder, come. I looked, and there before me was a white horse. Its rider held a bow, and he was given a crown, and he rode out as a conqueror, but bent on conquest. So is that Jesus? Well, first, some might point out that the white horse, but Jesus in Revelation 19 has a sword out of his mouth, and also he has not one crown, but many. And he's King of Kings. Let me read that, Revelation 19:12. His eyes are like blazing fire, and on his head are many crowns, as he's King of Kings. And verse 15, coming out of his mouth is a sharp sword. Also important is the fact that following Jesus is his elect, his holy ones. Revelation 19:14, the armies of heaven were following him, riding on white horses and dressed in fine linen, white and clean. Revelation 19:8 explains that. It was granted her to clothe herself with fine linen, bright and pure, for the fine linen is the righteous deeds of the saints. So the saints can't come with Jesus unless they're picked up first. So they're picked up in seal 6. And I did a video about Jesus' second coming. Please check that out when he comes with his holy ones. So what is the first rider? Well, I'll explain that, a bit more about that in part 3. God bless. Bye-bye.